So you've started your business and now you're hearing from all these people out there that you need to create an ideal client profile in order to target the right people and actually make sure that they're resonating with what you have to say. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what you actually need to do in order to create your ideal client profile without having to go through 100 or 1,000 steps, which frankly, most of those other exercises will go through just unnecessary steps that you don't need to know. So stick around. Camila Guarnia here. Welcome back to my channel. This is Heart Behind Hustle TV, where we support impact-making entrepreneurs to grow and scale their businesses online and turn their brands into movements. In order to make sure that your marketing is resonating with your ideal clients, we have to identify who your ideal clients actually are. Typically, and this is something I see a lot of people on YouTube doing, they're gonna address the collective. Hey, you guys. Hey, many people. And this is something that is very common on social media. However, when you start getting people into your email list and doing a little bit more of that intimate approach when it comes to marketing, you wanna make sure that you are talking to one person, because that's how we make a connection. If I was hearing that you're talking directly to me and you're addressing me as a singular, I'm going to feel like you are talking to me specifically and you're in my head, and I'll feel a lot more connected. This is one of the reasons why creating an ideal client profile can be really beneficial. You basically will start to visualize that ideal person in your head, understanding some of these specific things about them, and then when you're sitting down to write an email, doing a video or something like that, you can imagine that one person sitting right there in front of their computer and reading it, or maybe their phone, and reading that piece of material that you've created and hopefully feeling connected with what you have to say. And by the way, if we're being honest, most entrepreneurs, most of my clients will actually typically have like 3 ideal client profiles, not just one. If you are in a very specific niche, and by the way, if you don't know, I did create a video about whether you should niche down, so definitely check that out. But if you aren't in a super specific niche, you might probably have multiple ideal clients. I would recommend that you don't have more than 3 ideal client profiles, because when you start addressing all of them, that's when your messaging starts to get a little bit more diluted. So with each piece of content or program or offer that you create, make sure that you have 1, maybe 2 in mind that you're writing for, but in general, your entire business might have up to 3. So what does your ideal client profile need to include? First, it's your demographics and psychographics. So I want you to get clear on what is that person's gender? What is their age? Where do they live? What is their profession? How much money do they make? What does their family life look like? And any other relevant interests, anything that's relevant to your business. So for example, I wouldn't really talk about whether my ideal client has a kid or is married, because I don't talk about stuff like that. It doesn't really matter to me. What does matter though is potentially the age. So I don't target very young people. I myself, at the time of this recording, I'm 29, but a lot of my clients are actually in their 30s and 40s. So I know that that's typically my market. Late 20s to mid 40s is usually who I'm targeting, and they are primarily women. That doesn't mean that I never work with men, and it doesn't mean that I sometimes don't work with women that are 45 plus. Like, I've had a couple clients that are in their 60s. They are still resonating with the messaging I'm putting out, and it's not about being so exclusive that you don't work with anybody else. It's just that your messaging is a little bit more specific. You're thinking about that right person, so that right person is hopefully resonating with your message. Then you want to get into that person's personality. So who are they? How do they act? How do they behave? What does she believe in? Who is she as a person? I want you to identify, is she quirky? Is she fun? Is she a little bit nerdy? What does her personality look like? And usually it's going to be similar to yours, because, like attracts like. So it's very likely that your personality is going to be similar to their personality. Then we want to identify the problem. So what is her biggest challenge right now? And of course, she might have multiple challenges, right? It might be that she's worried about her kid getting into the right college, or maybe she is trying to get into the dating sphere and she just recently got divorced, or maybe she's also worried about her weight because she's entering the dating pool, but yet she doesn't feel comfortable in her skin. So it might be that she has multiple problems that she's facing, as we all do. Identify what are those specific problems, and you don't have to go beyond what you typically help them with, but it is helpful if you have a little bit more of a well-rounded picture. Then you want to identify what is her fear. So this problem that she's facing, why is that problem scary? What is she afraid is going to happen if she doesn't overcome this problem or challenge that she's facing? Really try to put yourself in her shoes shoes and understand what is the fear that's really holding her back? What is she afraid might happen? Then you want to identify the solution. So this is really important. What does she actually want? What is she actually looking for? And I know if you've been a coach for a while or an expert for a while, I'm not talking about what you know she needs. I'm talking about what she thinks she needs. So what does she want? What is she specifically looking for? What are the things she's typing into Google to search and YouTube into search? What is that thing that she thinks is missing for her? And often it's not going to be what you know is necessary for her to grow, but we want to identify that thing that she is consciously aware of is lacking. Then you want to identify what is her background. So this is something that most people don't address, but what is her background? What is her experience with this type of work that you do? So if she is looking to, again, get back into the dating scene after getting divorced, has she been dating for a while? How recent has her divorce happened? Has she been dating for years and still single? Has she worked with dating coaches? Has she been following dating coaches? Has she purchased courses around dating? Has she read books about dating? How experienced is she and how integrated is she in this space that you are in right now? This is going to be really important because if you're talking to somebody that's brand new to your industry, you're going to talk to them quite differently than someone that's already been doing this type of work for many, many years, especially if you're a coach. And as a bonus, sometimes this helps for people to really picture this person. You could find a picture of her on Pinterest or wherever and grab that picture and actually give her a name if it helps. I personally don't do this because for me, just knowing these identifiers that I mentioned is enough. But if it really helps you because you're struggling with picturing that particular person, maybe get a picture of an exact person that you were thinking of, and that's that. Now, as another thing I wanted to mention, if you're having a little bit of a challenge with coming up with these different things, you're like, well, how am I supposed to know? I don't know these things. Then start to think about your previous clients that you've worked with, or maybe friends that you know that would be ideal client. Try to picture who is that person. So you can actually make this entire profile based on that one person that you already know, that you have worked with in the past. You can even interview her if you want. That actually can really help you in filling some of these spaces and some of these gaps in that you might not know because you're not her. Lastly, very often people will end up creating an ideal client profile of someone that they used to be. So you're helping people that were just like you a year or two ago. And that's totally fine. Make a picture of that person. You probably know her pretty well because it's you, right? And that should give you a good idea about how you need to talk to that person in order to help them grow. Hopefully this video is helpful. This is a part of my Set Up Your Online Business Starter Kit, and it is available right now. So I'm really excited. It is completely free, and it's basically a mini course of all the steps you need to take in order to set up your online business and start getting clients very quickly. So I did link it in the description. If you found this video helpful, make sure that you subscribe because I'm releasing new videos twice a week, every Monday and Thursday. So make sure that you stick around because I have many more coming. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.